noticey. I haven't posted a vlog in a little while. I've just been so fucking busy. I've been busy with making shirts and making prints and finishing up commissions. And as soon as you think you have enough time to do something, of course you don't. You need to end up dedicating a lot more of your personal time to getting stuff done. And that's what I've been up against. I got shirts made and the shirts weren't quite right, and so that kind of set me back for a couple weeks. Then I had prints made and they turned out great. They were just not the right size to fit inside the plastic sleeves, so like that's another headache. It's always just something. It's always something that you run into, and it's a problem that you don't anticipate. And even when you're trying to be on your shit your best, you still run into these problems. Anyway, what I had going on was I was preparing for Salt Lake City, but I also had a few commissions I needed to get finished. One of which was a dog portrait, which is like a memorial piece for my friend Heather. She had contacted me on Facebook, and we've known each other for a few years. Heather's a model, and she's done a lot of photography where she's posed for it, but she's also a great makeup artist and a hairstylist. And her grandparents' dog passed away back in, I think, December it was. And his name is Cortez, and he's this little Chihuahua dog, and he's a fat little dog. And when he passed away, understandably the whole family was pretty upset by it. And like a lot of people who hit me up to do a pet portrait, if it's a portrait while the pet is alive, I know people are a lot more like, oh yeah, this is great, this is celebrating life. But I know when people get a pet portrait commissioned as a memorial, it's like a whole different feel to it. It's, you're dealing with somebody who's going to be carrying a lot of emotions with the painting that they get back. So you really, the pressure's on to deliver the good sort of. And in this case, I wanted to give Cortez and Heather's family something they could remember, something that memorialized their dog, but still give like some happiness and some life to it. Because you don't want to do a memorial where a pet who is passed on is in this depressed look. That's just not. It's not the way people want to remember their loved ones or their dogs, for that matter. In this pet portrait, the dog's holding this little monkey, and it's on a couch, and I know that Heather had said that this dog spends a lot of time on the couch, and so I wanted to show the whole scene. I wanted to be happy, so that when her grandparents, who were actually getting the painting, are around this painting, it brings them a lot of joy. That's kind of the point. That's kind of the goal when you're doing a memorial painting, just for everybody who should know that. You want to try to maybe go for colors or some sort of things to like brighten it up. You don't want to do a real dark portrait. It doesn't make sense to do, here's this like ominous feel to your dog or your cat, whatever, or even a loved one, even if it's a portrait of a person. So, yeah, I was kind of working on that, and I was working on that when my girlfriend's mom was here, and she wasn't feeling good, and like there was a lot of late nights, a lot of listening to music kind of low, but I had to get a lot of stuff done. When I gave the portrait to Heather, she drove up from Denver, and she was doing a modeling gig while she was already down there. Pretty fucking cool, like the kind of people who commission paintings. It's not always like some tattooer. Sometimes it's, a couple, who just want something beautiful for their house. Sometimes it's somebody who has a lot of money and they want like one of those big fucking powerful paintings. And then sometimes you have people who they either want something nice for their husband or boyfriend, a portrait of them, or maybe, in this case, a pet portrait memorial. And she drove up, and I didn't know really what to think. I knew she would be happy with it, but I wasn't really sure, like, what her reaction is. And I gotta tell you, when I paint something, when I paint like a fucking devil or a tiger or something, I get a lot of joy out of it myself because, it looks really powerful. It's like a fucking badass painting. On the other hand, when you're painting something for somebody else who's going through a lot, you think about a lot more emotions. You tend to think about, how is this person going to react? This is so much more important than just doing a good commission. And so when she came up, I was a little nervous. I was actually going to shoot some of her reaction for the vlog. And then I felt kind of like I was intruding on her emotions if I had. She probably wouldn't have minded, honestly. She's great. She's a good sport. But except she's a Bills fan, so I know that's got to be tough. I'm sorry, Heather. But she comes up and she, it was like a shitty day out too in Colorado, and she still drove up. And I was able to give her the painting, and the painting was actually still pretty sticky. It was still pretty wet. I had just glazed it the night before. I'd kind of like, between commissions, you're kind of like taking these windows. I'm going to work on this painting tonight. Thursday, I'm going to work on this painting. And I'm telling you, I have a crazy schedule with this. So she comes up, and, I show her the painting, and this is one of those moments when, as a painter, you get so much more of an emotional response. It made me a little emotional. Made me think about, if my cat passed away, or Nigel and Lindsay's cat passed away. It makes me even emotional thinking about it, to be honest with you. But when I painted her cat, or her dog, sorry. When I painted, got a little, the emotions just went in there. Did you see that? I painted her dog, Cortez, and I showed it to her, and I got her reaction from it. Man, I don't care like how much money you get. I don't care how pride, self-esteem, acclaim, whatever it be. When someone has that reaction about someone they love, it fills me with way more joy. And not to say that getting a lot of money is nice, don't get me wrong, but when someone has that emotional reaction, there's no monetary value that can replace that. That is truly, it's one of those moments when you go, making art, it is for us, it is for artists to do, but for the people who you make paintings for, you realize how much more important that is sometimes. And I really appreciate Heather letting me do this for her. I'm fucking honored. Anytime someone's going to have me paint a portrait, dog portrait, whatever it be, something that's important to you, if you have me paint it, it's important to me. And I was filled with amazing pride, and I could tell Heather loved her dog, and I could tell she loved this portrait, and I'm glad that her grandparents are going to enjoy it. I'm glad that that the life of Cortez can still be celebrated, and it's just one of those really fulfilling times as an artist. So thank you so much, Heather. Anytime I can do anything for anybody that's similar, a pet portrait, you let me know. I would love to do it. I got my t-shirts done for Salt Lake, and I was working on a few different projects at once. I was working on this Peacock painting behind me here for my boy Alex, who is actually have another segment in this vlog. I just went to Salt Lake City, and I shot some stuff for the vlog there. I wanted to shoot a lot more stuff, but really it was a lot of work. There's a lot of work leading up to. I was trying to send as many t-shirt orders out as possible. I was trying to get like a few commissions done beforehand. I was even with this Peacock painting, I worked really quickly on it. I know some of y'all watched the time-lapse video I posted before, and if you haven't, go check that out. It's actually how I started this painting. Throughout the past month, because it's been like a few weeks since I posted a vlog, it's been lots of work, man. Like, I wish I could say, it's just been painting away, not having to care in the world, but really, like, it's hard to do the fucking internet stuff. It's hard. I mean, if you're a tattooer, if you're a painter, trying to be all over the place, trying to make, put your stuff out on the internet, trying to put work together on the canvas, or if you're a tattooer, doing it on the skin, and I'm doing all that shit. I'm tattooing and painting and fucking making shirts and being a dad and being a boyfriend and being a cat dad and being all these other things. And fortunately, I'm lucky because at my shop, my boss is also my buddy and lets me kind of come and go as I need to, so I can do all these things, because it really can't. I can't stress enough, if you're a tattooer and you're happy in your shop, that's wonderful. And if you're a tattoo shop owner, you might not like what I'm about to say, but if you're a tattooer, you really should work on your internet presence and everything else like that. But it would be a good idea for you to find your own happiness too. I have my happiness, and for a long time my happiness was being in the shop, was being around all the other tattooers and like grinding and doing tattoos all day, and it was fucking awesome and instrumental in who I became today. What I've kind of found is if I spend 5 days a week in a tattoo shop, I don't get as much done. You know, like there's a lot of, let's order some food. Let's get coffee over here. Let's, let's fuck around and talk about random various subjects. And as much as I love that, I also realize that there's a lot of time that I'm leaving on the table. So I try to tell people this analogy a lot. Or metaphor, whatever it is. I dropped out of the fucking 10th grade. Like, oh, this dude's like doing all this fucking classical painting. I'm from the fucking projects. Hence the fucking, sorry, I had something in my teeth. I had a little beef in my teeth. No, but a lot of tattooers, you guys are in a different time period now. You're in a different era. When I first started tattooing, it was good to be good at everything. You know, you wanted to be as good at biomechanical as you were traditional, as you were black and gray. Fine. Speed it up years later, and now it's better if you kind of just do one thing. Like if you're just a specialist in something, for instance, and not even just traditional. You could be a traditional tattooer, but you're this like, I only do Euro style traditional. Okay. Well, I find myself in this time period being like, this is really fun. It's a good time to do this, but it's also kind of a good time to expand on some other things. And for me, I'm so excited about being able to paint. I'm excited to be able to tattoo. I'm excited to be able to have the time that I need to do. So I do appreciate that my boss lets me do that. That I have the freedom at home to be able to create all this stuff. In doing this, it's given me a chance to maybe promote some other people. Not just the people who buy my paintings, prints from me and t-shirts and everything else, but also the people who, other artists. You know, I love being able to promote other people who paint and tattoo and whatever we're doing, all this making shit, fucking down. I'm glad that we have this little fucking community, and I would not fucking by any way would not be able to do this if it wasn't for all the people who support what I'm doing. So thank you. But I do feel like at times I feel like a tattooer and I feel like a painter. With one rope, I'm holding on to a ship full of tattooers, and that ship is a reliable ship. You know, it's old Ironsides. It's been in the fight for all these years, and it served me well, and it serves all my friends well who tattoo, but it's a full ship. You know, it's got everyone's competing for the same bounty all the time. And as fun as that is to be a part of, it's more of a shared wealth in that idea. You know, so you're sharing the same dreams and ambitions as everyone else, and those have coincided with what I wanted to be, you know, up until recently. And so right now I sort of have one hand on this rope over here holding this fucking beautiful ship of tattooing. On the other hand, I hold this smaller vessel that is very much my painting career, you know, and I realize that smaller vessel, you know, in this big ship that I'm holding on to, I'm going to have to pick one to give more of my time to, you know, because they both are going off in different directions. I feel like right now is a good time for me to be operating this solo vessel. You know, it's a good time for me to be trying to build my own thing. And as much as I love being at my shop with everyone, you know, like I have a great boss. Everyone I work with works their ass off. Everyone there loves tattooing, loves painting, and all the other people I've ever worked with too. Like I have tremendous allies in tattooing, but I definitely feel that pull in different directions. And I don't think I'll ever quit tattooing, but I definitely want to focus my efforts on making the most of my time to do the tattoos I'm especially passionate about, and then the paintings and the works I'm especially passionate about. If I'm at the shop all the time and I'm doing like little tiny walk-ins and stuff, that eats up a lot of the time where I could be doing things like this. And because I'm doing things like this, I want to keep it more, you know, I want to give back. So I like talking about people who commission paintings from me, and I like talking about other artists. So that, you know, leads me into, I just started a podcast. called Painting Beasts. Sort of, it's used as a way to say you could be painting beasts, bird and whatever it be, but you could also be beast of painting yourself. And that's what I want to do. I want to bring in a lot of artists that I not only friends with, but also maybe look up to, and let them speak about what they're doing. Vlog is a great chance for me to talk about my work, but let's give some other people a platform too. And you can find that on this channel as well. It's one of these fucking stories. I'll get all this YouTube shit together eventually, and expect more vlogs too. I'm definitely gonna, I have a lot of great plans for paintings and tutorials, and I'm gonna give y'all a lot more shit. But the past few weeks, as much as I've loved it, and I love my life, the last weeks have been work, and I thought I knew work before. I definitely added a lot more level to this, so but with good reason and good things coming. We all just went to Little America on our way to Salt Lake City, and as we were all talked into basically getting these cones of ice cream, because the ice cream at Little America is amazing. And I thought it wasn't going to be at first. I thought it was going to be some bullshit like, here's just a fucking ice cream cone that tastes like some McDonald's bullshit. But this is McDonald's bullshit. But this is pretty fucking good. And we're all shaping them into dicks of different shapes. So like mine's a really sharp dick. What kind of dick do you have?
Mine's going to smush down.
Yep, Hannah. That dick is gone.
We acknowledge that binding is not the only determinant of host susceptibility. It represents...
So when I was in Salt Lake, I love that city. We got to stay in an Airbnb, which was really nice. We got to play like Uno and Cards Against Humanity and stuff, and got to cook, and we had a lot of laughs. It was really fun. When I was in the convention center and I'm looking around, I didn't bring my tattoo equipment. I looked through different eyes, I think, this time. Every convention I've ever done, I've been so fucking busy. If I didn't get booked for the entire convention, and I was lucky enough to do so, I at least was preoccupied with an appointment, and I go talk to other tattooers, and then there was just this camaraderie that was really nice. But most of the time I had my head down, so I missed out on a lot. This time where I was just there to sell prints and t-shirts and stuff. And what I noticed out there, a lot of tattooers, they're working hard. They've raised their game to a different level. I'm seeing like convention booths completely decked out. The modern day tattooer is a executioner. Okay, like everyone's banner I walked by, and I saw, it was weird being at that convention. The first time I went there was about 10 years ago. So being back 10 years ago, the first time I ever fucking smoked weed, and I didn't even smoke weed. I ate like a weed cookie there, and went down to the second floor party. So like, and if you all have ever done the convention or ever been there, you know what this party's like. And there was a million tattooers and so many people I knew. And I remember I was standing next to a couple of tattooer friends, and people just kept popping up, and I'd be like, it was terrifying. The first fucking weed cookie I ever had was fucking terrifying. It was one thing to have never smoked weed, but it was another to be like, oh, here's a whole fucking weed cookie. I'm going to eat it, and let's just see where the day takes us. But let's do it at the fucking tattoo convention. So yeah, I got really ripped on that. Me and Sky James were wrecked. Shout out to my boy Sky James. So this year was a lot different perspective. In other years where I've gone, and it was definitely like tattooer mode, party mode, drinking, trying to hang out with girls. This year was definitely like laid back. Like I said, we cooked. We're in their Airbnb. It was really fun playing games. And then we got a good night's rest and went to work the next day. And, Friday, I just brought merch, so I knew I wasn't going to make any money. So Saturday was great. Saturday some people came by, and then Sunday you obviously make, if you're selling merch or you're selling paintings, that's when you're gonna do really well. And man, people took care of me. Y'all did. I appreciate the fuck out of it. People came by, people bought paintings. Fucking Old Mike, thank you. Fucking Billy White, thank you. Chris Buckholz, thank you. And then everyone who came by the booth, like, it's strange because I hadn't been anywhere in a while. I haven't been out of Colorado in like 2 years, and then the last time I went was Salt Lake. So to see a lot of faces that I'm used to seeing. On the other hand, I still saw a lot of people who I'd never met, but I was aware of through like the internet. And I'm proud of tattooing. I'm proud of where it is. I'm proud that tattooers still support what I'm doing. I still tattoo, but I'm just very picky, and that may not be a popular position with some people, but I don't care. Go fuck yourself. Let me just throw this out there. Somebody make a fucking app that has, for a convention, that has, hey, I want to do a tattoo today, and then a client or an attendee wants to get tattooed. Make like a fucking Tinder thing so that you can hook those two people up so that they can get tattoos done. File it by section. Oh, fucking Jenny wants to go get a fucking traditional tattoo, and fucking tat dude over here wants to do one. Link those fucking people up. It's 2019. Wake up. Like, I try to run this by the Salt Lake dudes, and they're like, well, it's kind of nice to do it organically. That's fine. But, like, we live in 2019. You're holding a cell phone in your pocket. Come on. Get your shit together. Also, make these fucking tattoo conventions do something other than, like, it's to make it so it's so monetary kind of sucks. Like, if a tattooer just goes there and, like, all I'm trying to do is make money, and they don't really get anything from it, that sucks, man. Like, you got to give it so that tattooers feel like they're leveling up. I remember when I go to conventions, there was a lot more seminar type stuff, and some of that stuff can be so fucking lame. But, like, I'll do a fucking painting seminar. Someone hit me up, I'll do a fucking painting seminar. Y'all gonna pay me, but I'll do one. But you also need to have people out there who are explaining more about, like, who you are as a tattooer and philosophies and stories like that. I think these things are important. If you go to a Comic-Con, there's a lot more going on than just people buying shit. People just getting, an autograph. It should be a lot more of an experience, and we're leaving a lot on the table. So somebody fix that shit. Somebody come up with a really good, or hit me up. I'll give you some ideas, yo. Really lucky recently. I put up a wish list of all the paintings I wanted to do, and it got me some commissions. It got me some people who actually wanted some of the stuff I put on the list, and one of them was a peacock. The peacock that's right behind me here. It was commissioned by a guy named Alex, who is a tattoo collector, a painting collector. He's a world traveler. Every time I talk to Alex, if it's not about the Patriots or Red Sox or something, it's always about, where he is. And he's just the kind of guy, he has a Mike Rubendahl fucking back piece, and it's ridiculous. It's so bright. He came out to Colorado. First time he ever comes out to Colorado. Just the most unassuming guy, he's just a nice guy. And he looks like somebody I would know back in Boston that loves, like, Boston sports and could tell you everything. He looks like the kind of guy who could tell you where you're gonna have the best slice of pizza in your life. He lives out in New Jersey. He works for some IT company that basically they work on technology, and it lets him travel all around. His dad works for an airline, and his dad's been able to help him kind of meet some of those locations for work, but also give him some chance to travel and get tattooed and collect. I'm just looking at his list here. He's got tattoos by, like, everybody, man. I'm looking at, it's like Eli Quinners and Brad Fink and Mike Rubendahl and fucking like O'Donnell and Timothy Hoyer and Steve Byrne, Sean Topper, my boy Sean Topper, shout out, Chris Kahn, Frank William, Burt Crack, Nick Colella, Grez, Mark Nava, Steve Boltz, Greg Whitehead, like just going down. Shinji, Dan Sins, I don't know how to say his name, but he's fucking dope. Steve Boltz. Sorry, I just dropped a lot of fucking names. I mean, like, this dude is one of the most serious fucking collectors. He came out, got tattooed by me. He actually hit me up, and I was like, sure, man, you collect tattoos, that's fine. And fucking Alex comes out and he shows me what he has, and I'm like, I don't even want to touch him at this point. I gotta fucking put tattoo next to some of the heaviest hitting dudes in the game. But it made me really honored, and of course I did, and I was able to put a tattoo on him I was proud of too, luckily. I tattooed him. We talked a little bit about oil painting, and he told me that back then, that's when he knew he had to collect a painting from me. He was like, I already liked your work, but when you started talking about oil painting, that made me want to collect one from you. And fuck, I was super honored. Alex hit me up. We talked about doing a Peacock. That was one of the things on my list of paintings I really wanted to do. And why I wanted to do a Peacock, listen, sometimes you don't really pick a painting because you're like, oh, I really want to do something that's like super emotional or meaningful to me. Sometimes you just want to fucking paint, just like how tattooing is. You just want to do something beautiful or cool or fucking tough. And that's no different in this case. What I did know I wanted to do, I wanted to put some sort of statue with it. I've seen it in popular themes in art. I'm not inventing anything here, not reinventing anything here. I'm just doing my take of it. And I always liked how a peacock, it has so many different opportunities as a painting. You have the blues and the greens and the warm yellows, and and all these natural colors, and then like those oranges in there. And I knew I would have a solid palette just to do this. So it's really not, when you get a peacock in your lap, when you get a peacock in your lap. In this case, this particular peacock painting was important because I was painting it for a guy who has a fucking Mike Rubendahl back piece. You're gonna have to do something. And he's like good friends with Timothy Hoyer and all that stuff. Really want to make sure somebody like that gets something that is worthy of them. And I think, it's one of those, if the guy's traveling around, he's seen some great art. I really wanted to give Alex something great. He, in addition to collecting stuff from people, which if you're lucky enough to have anybody collect anything from you, you're already dealing with somebody who has an understanding of the importance. They appreciate what you're doing. They're not the kind of people who are just, they're a little more gourmet about things. And Alex is no different than that, and I wanted to give something that he could look at for years to come. So I thought about a peacock being sort of an allegory for life and death, a memento mori. And in this painting, I show a peacock, and I show it on the shoulder of an angel, of a cupid, of a cherub, the fallen, sad angel that is looking at, understanding that death is essential and that death is eventual, and as a statue, frozen in that moment. It being a youthful embodiment itself, as being a child, a baby, sort of. My reference for that was from a few different gravestones that I really liked. I really liked some things about this one, some things about that one, and I thought that was a good thing to kind of combine. I really wanted to show this gray stillness of death, but also how death accelerates too. It's always marching towards us. And even in our youth, yes, sure, death comes for us all, and we all may start at youth and end in death, but the time in between can be beautiful, and that's really what this theme of this painting is. I have a lot of stuff coming up. I'm really so close on this Temptation of Christ painting. I don't want to work on it as much because it's not that I don't want to, I'm dying to work on it, but I also have a few other commissions I'm working on right now, and vlogs will be made about those and the people who commissioned them. I really like that this format gives me the opportunity to do that. I think it's kind of cool to show the people who are buying paintings. I think that that's just as important to what the paintings are about, is, and just as much as what I'm telling you.